Host Ken Vellante here. Want to talk to you about Buoyant, a book by Susie DeVille, which is the entrepreneur's guide to becoming wildly successful, creative, and free. I've known Susie for a couple years and have taken her class and have read her book twice. Buoyant is an incredible book that really delves into the art practice, talks about things of stress, mindfulness, embedding creativity in your job, and looking for opportunities to be creative in what you do from day to day. It's been remarkably helpful and established in my practice of doing morning pages, engaging in movement and mindfulness. But it's really helpful for folks who want to kickstart their art, their business, to move out of the position of just doing and actually experience more joy and opportunity in their life. Could not recommend this book more highly. Everybody, please check out Susie DeVille's Buoyant, available in bookstores near you.
You are listening to Something Rather Than Nothing. Creator and host, Ken Vellante. Editor and producer, Peter Bauer.
We'll get you ready for your. You got some photos coming up too.
Actually this is my first animation that I'm collaborating with a photographer instead of like taking all the photos myself. So he's coming in to set up the next shot.
Yeah, so everybody, this is Ken Vellante with the Something Rather Than Nothing podcast, and I'm just really excited to have Cissi Efraimsson of the band Volcano, drummer, singer, sometimes provocateur, it seems, and artist, animator. I'm so excited because I've seen the stuff that you've done, and I'm glad to be able to talk to you directly. Cissi, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm so happy you invited me.
Yeah, excited to have you on. Tell us to drop us into your world. I came in contact with your stuff, the Juxtaposed magazine, and I was able to just see a lot of the visuals and see some of your words talking about your art. But I see somebody like you, I'm like, this somebody's always been cranking artistically. But what's your when did you see yourself as an artist? You come out that way, or what?
I think so. I've always just made stuff, and I think it just makes me very peaceful to be in a creative flow. I just I think I've always done it, but then the older I am, the more aware I am that my well-being is super connected to creating and being in a flow. So I'm trying to put as many hours as I can to be in a flow per day. That's my goal.
Yeah, I talk to a lot of artists, and it's something almost each and every episode I connect to, as far as what art does for the people who are receiving it, or connecting with it, or creating it. A lot of what I've been thinking about lately has to do with the movement of creating, moving the body and forming, which I see in yours with the particular type of animation style with the clay and these disparate pieces, but forming and moving. So you could feel it, that kind of kinetic feel. Can you just bring us into talking about your videos and how you put those together? Can you take us into creating those beautiful pieces?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm working in several mediums. I guess, yeah. Most of the time, I do stop motion animation and ceramic sculpture. And I mean, for me, it's all about fantasy and, like, I'm always trying to like grab it onto magic and like let the let it take me to like some like fantasy world. And so I don't know. I always I always work in pretty bright colors. Um, I'm a Virgo. I feel like I'm always like trying to do like like reach perfection, but like
Hmm.
which I never can do. Like, but I like that because I'm also like I'm really into like punk music and like so I'm like also at the same time obsessed with like having things looking like funky and like weird. Um, which that's I guess that's a little bit why like I'm so attracted to clay as material because you can never like get it perfect, and especially like claymation, it's like it really has the material really has like its own world and language, and like I'm just like as an animator and sculptor I'm just like trying to tame it, but it's just completely taking me like I mean I feel like we're like working together like it's it's a collaboration, but we
Yeah.
definitely have like different wills.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and that's where the energy is. I think it's I love talking to artists when you drop into that of the energy of what like that. Writers talking about that character. It's like they're talking about this character and like, oh, I can't stand this character. Like they're engaging emotionally. I'm like, you're writing the next line, like you're doing the dialogue, but they're like, no, that character lives, but that struggle back and forth, and I could think about it, for you and what you sculpt and what you form there, like going back and forth with you. Is clay more? Does it feel more forgiven for you as you working with it? As far as
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I think so. Like compared to painting, like I've done some paint. I mean, I'm doing painting sometimes too, but I feel like there are like I don't know if it's like because you're there's like such a history of like and culture of like that painting is like the highest form of art or something, so it's like
yeah,
it's more pressure, and like you have seen so many like perfect paintings, and I feel like with sculpture I can just be more free, and yeah, so I would definitely say it's more forgiving than some other art forms or
yeah.
materials.
Well, and I think it's even in framing our discussion, Sissy. I mean, I think I do have to say is like talking to you, as drummer, percussionist, as singer, as princess punk, that as sculptor, as claymation, as painter. So it's like that's talking about all of that, but all those things that you do, I think you're a thrilling artist, but what's art for you? What is art? What are you doing?
um I mean, I feel like it is an energy that like I I think about it as an energy that like without like sounding too crazy, but well, this is my view. Um there's like an energy that like I think all humans can tap into. But maybe, you know, artists are like more like maybe like in straighter contact to this energy, and I mean so I don't know, in a way I'm like I really believe in that idea that the artist is just like sort of a messenger. um so I think like um I don't know, I think that's why I have like a lot of artists has like there's the same ideas without even have like talked to each other, like, and I think it's just because we just like grab stuff from like the same pool or something,
Yeah, yeah.
like
There's that
water,
idea.
or I don't know. And then so the and I mean I do, I make music, I make animation, I do, all those stuff, but I feel like it's sort of the same source, like, but just like different expressions, and
Yeah,
different tools. Like sound is like instruments is one tool, and but I mean I do take like certain like I feel like certain ideas that comes to me like have I can be like, okay, so um, this is like this could work for a song, or like this is actually like a story that could work for a film, or this is more like something visual that I need to express, like that doesn't have a sound, like it's something that has to be still. And then sometimes it's an idea that like moves from one medium to another, um, and it's like it becomes like this reoccurring theme or character that like you know
yeah.
walks through all my pieces. Yeah.
Nah, I'm following. Yeah, I was in the guilty of following too closely along with what you were saying. Yeah, I was no. Tell us about the Volcano. Tell us about you playing drums. Tell us about I've listened to the music. I've seen some wonderful live performances as well, and I think you've articulated in some couple comments that I meant of the how things might sound live at times and how things might
Yeah.
sound in the studio. But tell us about Volcano.
Yeah. So it's me and two of my like oldest friends. They're more like, we're more like sisters, or I don't know, it's feel like, yeah. Rebecca, I've known her since I was 4, and Lisa, I've known her also for a very long time, and actually we have like a fourth new member now, so it's good with some new blood, but but I mean I've been always like playing drums. My big brother um got a drum kit when he was 15 and I was 5, and he like made me watch him drum and then like every time he drummed he wanted me to look at him, and then after a while he was like, why don't you drum? And I was like, oh
Yeah,
yeah. And then I started drumming, so like it's always sort of been with me. I hardly like remember not playing music, and we've just like me and Rebecca and Lisa have just like started our first band when we were 14, and we've just like kept playing. We had like probably like my biggest commercial success was when I was like in my early, yeah, late teens, early 20s. We had a band called Those Dancing Days that was like very popular in Europe, um, and after that we were just like fuck commercial music and started Volcano, and I don't know, it's just like for me music is quite social, like a social form of art. It's a really really sweet way to hang out, and
yeah,
it's nice that you don't have to use words or language to communicate. It's like another way to communicate, which is really beautiful.
no, I agree. Particularly, in that performance. So you're from Sweden. You go to art
Yes.
school in LA. How did all that happen? How'd you end up going to
Um,
art school and
yeah, so Um, I mean, I had been to LA a couple of times through doing music here, and I was just like, wow, this is so cool. Like, I don't know, coming from Stockholm, where like, um, it's small, and um, I had lived there my whole life, and it was starting to feel like really, really boring. I mean, but like I'm spoiled because it's also really, really nice. But sometimes you just need to
Yeah,
move
everybody's mind's
physically.
different. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so I applied to the master program at CalArts and in animation, and it was great, but it was hard work. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
I don't know if all educations in the US is like that. It was pretty hardcore. Like it was a lot of work all the time, like for 3 years and not that much sleep. I feel like I aged a lot. but like but I learned a lot too. I learned so much. So like I feel like I came out like on like beginning and then going through that and coming out is like changed my practice a lot, and it was super cool, but I'm like so happy it's over.
It can be like that sometimes. Maybe you squeezed, I don't know, 5 years into that amount of time too. It can be pretty intense. I mean, advanced study. It could be a weird world. It could be a highly competitive world. It could be a world of which you're entering into and don't understand the players or how to navigate or what's true. And it's a big thing. You gotta make it and do it, and like you have to or not. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's yeah.
totally. Yeah, it was really intense. I would just like, I don't know, my friend visited me, and I was just like, just so you know, I don't have any time to hang out,
Oh
but you can be
yeah.
here. And she was just like, yeah, yeah, sure. And then she was here, and she was like, oh my fucking god, she like. Because I would just like get up super early to like start casting silicone fins for my film, and then like keep working the whole day. Like also, and then in the evening I would like set the last molds, and it would just like be fucking crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's well, you made it and you made it through it. So what? So not to reveal everything, but like what's next? You do a lot of the animation. I've seen your sculpture. I mean, in and of itself, and then with
Yeah.
music touring. What's coming up?
um so I'm right now I'm working on a music video for Viagra Boys. It's like a, I don't know, do you know who they are?
No, but I think
uh,
I feel I should, at least with the name.
yeah, you can, yeah. um they're really good. It's a Swedish band. They have become like really popular here, so it's fun. I'm making a stop motion video for them, and what else? I mean, I have a lot of. I'm constantly like. What I think is the most fun right now is making sculptures in ceramics. So that's what I'm like trying to, as soon like in the evenings and weekends and stuff. That's what I do. Um, I'm hoping to have a show. I'm gonna be a part of a group show on Saturday in LA at La Luz de Jesus.
Oh, what a great gallery! I haven't been there, so I can't say that. But I've,
Yeah,
as much as I can try to interact with everything there as possible, I've done that. I'm so excited to hear that for you.
yeah,
That's a great place
yeah,
for your stuff. Yeah.
yeah. It seems so. I'm super excited. Um, and I mean, we're gonna do. I'm going back to Sweden in August, and we're gonna do some shows with Volcano. Um, yeah. So that's my plan.
Yeah, yeah, that's no, that sounds most wonderful. Gotta
Yeah.
hit you with the one of the weird. big questions of the
Yeah,
show, which I think you might already hit on, like with some of your answers. But why is there something rather than nothing? I wanted to know, like the big answer to the things
wow,
from Sissy. I mean, you
yeah,
know, you're tapping it. Well, wait a second. You said earlier, there's this kind of like maybe one source, something like that.
yeah.
People, your radio antenna is like really hooked in sharp to like these art things, and so that's going on. So is it related to that?
I mean, what is nothing? Nothing is like nothing sounds really boring. Nothing is like nothing. Nothing is really lame.
that
Like yeah.
That's
So
the first time
so
somebody's answered it like that, and it's reasonable. Nothing's really lame. Nothing's really lame. So
so I feel like something um is definitely better than nothing. Because I mean, yeah, it's
the only follow up question or comment related to this that I have to ask you, uh, tell us about the mermaids you create on the with the animation.
yeah. So it's a short film called Sea Angels, where it was my master project, and well, it became more than that because I didn't manage to like finish the whole thing in time because it was like way too ambitious. So I'm still like I've animated everything, but I'm like editing, like doing like some last stuff. But it's about mermaids living in a pool in LA. They have come up to the shores. This is in the future, so it hasn't happened yet. Um,
Okay.
they have come up to the shores, and humans are like, what the hell? There's mermaids. They're real. They're not mythological creatures. And um, and what happens is like some people take care of them, but a lot of people like put them in zoos or like put them eat them. It becomes like a delicacy
Yeah.
delicacy
Yeah.
uh, with like mermaid meat and mermaid eggs, and it's like, and there are demonstrations and people who want to rescue them. So there's a movement where they all become like gathered and get shelter in this pool in Los Angeles, and that's where my film like takes place. And it's a mockumentary where I'm like, as a like filmmaker, like follow three of the main mermaids and like get their perspective of the situation. And you know this place, it's called Sea Angels, and it becomes like a sort of like a Sea World event place where like humans pay and come and experience the world of mermaids. They party with them and like see like acrobatic shows, and yeah. So it's like a really dark comedy.
I appreciate the worlds you create. That's why I've asked you onto the podcast. Thank you for your work in creating them. One cool thing in Portland, I remember one time in Portland, Oregon, went to it was a performance, a show, a nice performance, Saturday or Sunday afternoon. It was really nice. It was summertime, and it was in the 85, 90 degrees, and it was so fantastic because outside the venue is a park with some kind of raised pools of water. You got some streams coming down, some splashing, it cools you off, and there were 3, 4 mermen and merwomen, mermaids around with kind of the full. You'll see the full uh, outfit and everything just there, and it was just so fun
Wow.
just to hang out, like because I don't know. It's just you're sitting next to somebody like that and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna splash some water on me." It's like I just saw a play inside. I go outside and hang out with the mermaids in Portland. I appreciate that.
Wow.
I'm the type of person who wants
You
that.
would
So
go.
so when I wanted to hear what you were working on there. It's such I love the seriously and absurdly too. I love the fantasy that's in. I like in your videos and in the visuals with the band, things being oversized and being like, oh, this is, and there's this it's just you get a good shaking up of like, fantasy in proportions. So um I've been talking about some of the bits and pieces that I've seen, but can you tell the listeners where to find your videos and about the band, about Volcano and
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. So, volcano spelled with a Swedish spelling. It's called Vulkano. So it's with a U and a K, and yeah, sort of Swedish. Um, and I mean, we have a bunch of videos. I directed most of them on YouTube, but also you could follow me on Instagram. I post a lot of my stuff. It's Cissi Efraimsson, Cissefraimsson, or just Volcano the band. Yeah, and that's where I hang on the internet.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the things in the conversation to hear, a lot of the hard work you do put into the art. It's always like there's always this piece as an enthusiast being like, you know, take your time and rest. And also be like, I want to see I want to see the shit you're working on too. Like, be somewhere between those two things. So, um, thank you for hanging out, Cece, and just really a pleasure to talk about the things you create, and just know that I appreciate them, and I'm actually really excited for the listeners who haven't come in contact with the band yet, or your individual work to go check out what you do, and to enjoy the fantasy and the fun and smiling,
Thank
right?
you.
And
Yeah,
smiling,
that's what I want. Yeah.
yeah, I dig that. Thanks for coming on. It's been a great pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It was really fun to talk to you.
All right, take care.
Okay, thank you.
I wish I had a tail so I could wag it real good when I see ya. I wish I had a tail so I could wag it real good. 'Cause I like you, to show you my love, I'm gonna wag it. To show you my care, I'm gonna wag it. I hope you like it, 'cause I like you, I'm gonna wag it.
This is Something Rather Than Nothing,